The ANC Northwest Elective Conference's second leg is expected to get underway this weekend. This is after a court attempt to interdict the conference failed. Some disgruntled party members brought an urgent application before the High Court to declare the provincial conference unlawful. Our reporter Moloko Moloto is in the Northwest and joins us with the latest. Moloko, is it all systems go now?
Good evening, Hanley. When you speak to the African National Congress, both the provincial secretary who was elected last week, but also when you speak to Obed Bapela, who is the leader of the National Executive Committee deployees to this province, they will tell you that it's all systems go. Of course, they are emboldened by yesterday's court ruling by the High Court in Mahikeng that essentially dismissed with cause an urgent application by disgruntled party members who wanted the conference that said 2 weeks back to elect the top 5 leaders of the ANC to be set aside. However, they believe, that is those disgruntled party members, that they still want to continue with a legal action. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, Hanley, I have just been in contact with a lawyer representing those disgruntled members. His name is Bongani Zisiwe of Zisiwe Attorneys, who confirmed to me that he has just filed the papers in the Constitutional Court, wherein he's representing the disgruntled ANC members who have now elevated their matter to the highest court in the land. And of course, earlier when we spoke to the ANC, they said they have not been served. But let us also listen to the provincial secretary of the ANC when we spoke to him, when he was responding to that particular Constitutional Court challenge, but also to the petition that has been signed by senior ANC members in this province. One, Bizole Nkopane, is the convener of the ANC Women's League. That is the position that is equivalent to the chairperson position of the Women's League in the province, but also Tato Wa Magagadi, who is the convener of the ANC in Ngakamudiri Mulema region. They, together with 3 others, actually wrote to Luthuli House, to the officials of the ANC, and they are calling for that conference to be nullified. But let's listen to the provincial secretary.
We have inside conference adopted credentials. And all of us, we have agreed with those credentials. And what is funny, what is not there is that the comrades were part of conference. Comrade Tato, Comrade Biza were part of it. In fact, Comrade Biza contested for a position of a deputy chair. So it can be that when you have contested, when the results now are bad, now you are coming back with something else. She contested, it was fair, she went there, she went and voted. Even Comrade Tato was given an opportunity whether he wanted to contest or not. He declined in front of all of us. And what will be the problem? Because they contested, we agreed, this is the conference results.
Moloko, I believe you have a guest to speak to us exactly on that issue. Over to you.
That is very true, Hanley. I'm joined by Tato Wa Magogodi, one of the people who have written to Luthuli House. Tato, what specifically, in a nutshell, are you complaining about?
Well, in a nutshell, I think it's important to say that what transpired in the Rustenburg Civic Center last week was mired with a lot of fraud. In fact, to put it bluntly, the Rustenburg Civic Center is a crime scene.
Give us the specifics in terms of the violation of the ANC Constitution.
Yes. Because what would have taken place annihilated the constitution of the ANC and its core values and principles. I'll give you a plethora of examples. One of them is the fact that credentials were forced upon the throats of delegates. And what is contradictory is that after they were adopted, the next day, registration continued to take place. That's the first thing which we think is cardinally wrong with what transpired. The second thing is that the delegates who were duly nominated by their branches to come and participate in the conference, a lot of them were removed. And we can tell in retrospect that the removal of such took place within a very clearly defined factional line, which was meant to produce a particular outcome that you now have. We can go on and on. Amongst the things that we think were erroneous that took place is the fact that there were duplicate tags of delegates, and therefore this would have created a situation where one group was given a fraudulent leeway to be able to win the conference in a manner that is
yeah, Tato, if true, these allegations that you are making are very serious. Surely you and some of the people, specifically the lady who is the convener of the ANC, who contested for the position of deputy chairperson, surely you should have not participated in that conference, because you would have seen that it was mired in with irregularities. You were also among those who wanted to contest, although you withdrew. Why did you contest in a conference that was mired in irregularities?
As you correctly point out, I was supposed to contest as provincial secretary. Personally, I did not contest. You see, we look at these things differently. I did not contest because already I had appreciated the fact that this conference was mired with irregularities, and I did not contest for that reason primarily. The other comrades who would have realized this later in the process of conference and began to appreciate things as we do now. And it is for that reason that in the second leg of conference, because hindsight is 2020, they are not going to participate because they believe that the evidence has been put out there that this conference is riddled with all sorts of things that would point in the direction that irregularities are at the center of this conference.
How would you respond to people who would say, you guys are bitter, you lost, you should just allow this process to continue?
Well, those people obviously are wrong, because if we were bitter, we would not be airing our views publicly. We are just moving from a premise of principle. I did not participate. I already knew that there were all sorts of things that are wrong with this conference. I'm still here in Rustenburg, and I want to raise my views publicly that clearly there's all sorts of things that would point in the direction that the constitution of the ANC has been violated, and it can't be that bitterness is extrapolated from allowing a conference that is riddled with such wrong things, and we will just fold our arms.
All right. Sorry, we spoke, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, we're running out of time. We spoke to Obed Babela, the convener of the ANC NEC deployees, and he's saying a task team has been put in place to look into your complaints as far as the letter you wrote to the officials at Luthuli House is concerned. However, he's saying the conference tomorrow is certainly continuing. Do you get a sense that perhaps the continuation of the conference, even before those issues you raised are resolved, is delegitimizing this?
Well, I think Comrade Obed Mapela knows already where he's sitting, if he's honest, that there's all sorts of things that have transpired in this conference that are wrong, and therefore it is disingenuous on his part to suggest that we still have to wait for somebody, whether it is a task team led by the acting Secretary General, to still prove that things that went in this conference are incorrect. So to participate further in this conference, knowing the wrongs that have transpired, it is actually to legitimize it further. Yeah. This is a crime scene, my brother, and I think we should treat it as such.
All right. Finally, Tato, you guys are always in the ANC talking about the unity, renewal, and all that. How are your actions as leaders of the ANC who are contesting the legitimacy of this conference helping in renewing the ANC and uniting your rank and file?
Yeah. As genuine revolutionaries and as principal members of the African National Congress, we are talking about the unity of purpose. And that purpose must not be a purpose of convenience. It must be based on principles. In fact, at the center of our renewal project in the ANC should be doing things the right way. Everything that we do as the ANC moving forward has to be in kilter with the constitution of the ANC, has to be in kilter with the values. Rigging is certainly not enveloped amongst those principles.
Right. Tato wa Magogodi, the man who is among those who wrote a letter to Luthuli House to the officials of the ANC calling on the national leadership of the party to annul and set aside the leadership top 5 who were elected in this ongoing conference. So it appears, Hanley, that controversy, it's not going to end anytime soon. We wait to see whether tomorrow there will be a continuation of that conference. As I said earlier, the Constitutional Court has been now brought in. The lawyers representing disgruntled ANC members are now seized with this matter, and they have confirmed that they are pursuing it. We will wait to see overnight what actually transpires.
Thank you very much. That was our reporter Moloko Moloto bringing us coverage of that Northwest ANC Provincial Elective Conference, still hanging in the balance.